Ivan, we need to rescue this Audi from car wash damage.
I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. In this video, we are going to save this poor little Audi that has had a rough life going through car washes. It's got scratches, it has mineral accumulation on it, it has water spots. We're gonna show you how to take care of all that and polish using a rotary.
Yeah, a lot of people say, can you do a quick one-step enhancement with a rotary polisher and your rotary drilling pad? You absolutely can. We're gonna get to that, we'll show that to you. But preparation, as always,
Key.
is key.
So, preparation, we're gonna start with a rinseless wash. The rinseless wash, we want to emulsify the dirt that's sitting on the surface, the dust. Therefore, we take our keg. You can use any sprayer you have, just we happen to like this one. It works super well. And we coat the surface with the rinseless wash.
Ivan, I wanted to showcase another option. Let's say you had a sprayer like this. You just dump it in your bucket of rinseless wash, which we've already got or will have properly diluted at 1 ounce of rinseless wash per 2 gallons of water. So, for example, a rinseless wash in our wash bucket, you can just dump your sprayer in there. It's already diluted. Boom, fill it up, pump it. This one happens to have a battery, and then you can go ahead and spray it as well. So same principles apply, or if you wanted to, you could just use a trigger sprayer. It would take you a lot longer, but we're trying to meet you at home. If you don't have any fancy tools, you're just trying to get the rinseless wash on the surface to start this process. In fact, I've got this, so I'm gonna help you, Ivan.
There you go. The rinseless wash is going to emulsify, and then we're gonna hose it off. Yes, it's a rinseless wash. It doesn't mean it's a hoseless wash. This is a new shop that we're in. Oh, it's a very old shop, but it's new to us. And the renovations aren't completed yet. They're barely starting. So we have a minimal of things to have.
Who knows when you'll see this, but it just so happens we're going through a nasty snowstorm here in Omaha. But it's a reminder that no matter what the weather, the conditions, whether you have the tools or you don't, where there's a will, Ivan, there's a way.
Exactly.
We don't have the fancy shop set up yet either, but we're making it happen.
Turning the hose on does a much better job too. There you go. So now we're removing the dust, the dirt that was on here. This was driven through snow to get here. It had time to thaw overnight, but we had all sorts of calcium buildup on it from the snow-covered roads, snow and salt and whatever else they put on the roads these days.
Yeah, it occurred to me, Ivan, that perhaps you have just bought a used car and you've noticed it's had some of that neglect. It's had a lot of car wash swirls and water spots, and you're just trying to do kind of a reset to get your vehicle foundation-wise in a place where you feel like you guys can build a life together. This would be a good process for that. At DIY Detail, we teach the foam rinse foam method if you're using a foam cannon, right? But if you don't have a foam cannon, think of it like chemical rinse chemical. So rinseless, rinse it off, rinseless again. And you might say, Ivan, well, what's this with rinseless and now you're using hoses, right? What is a rinseless wash?
Well, rinseless wash just means you don't need to rinse it off when you're done. It becomes its own drying aid. Now, in this particular case, we're going to be rinsing again, but we have a lot of other steps to do on this vehicle.
It just kind of comes down to your preference, whether you like to wash with incredible suds or rinseless wash.
Yeah, and since we don't have a pressure washer, we don't have a foam cannon, rinseless wash is the logical choice.
It feels like, you've mentioned before, like a precision wash.
Exactly.
And again, we do the foam rinse foam or chemical rinse chemical. This is adding lubrication and cleaning power for when we finally do touch the paint with our rinseless wash sponge. Anytime you touch your paint, there's a scratch risk, and then we want to mitigate that as best we can. We're kind of leaning into the science here, the lubrication, the polymers in our rinseless wash, and the fact that we've already pre-treated and rinsed this paint to begin with.
In our bucket, we have a dilution of 256 to 1, 1 ounce to 2 gallons, half an ounce to a gallon, 4 milliliters to a liter, however you want to look at it. We have the right amount in there. More is not better, and that is something that people have a little bit of an issue with, trying to put too much on.
Ivan, I always thought more was better. I never really believed you, but I've come around.
Right. Someone says they get streaking with the rinseless wash, we can pretty much guarantee that They sort of glugged it instead of actually measuring.
Knowing we're gonna polish this, Ivan, are you washing any differently?
Not at all. Safety first, all the time.
I like the red and the black sides of the sponge. They're the identical foam, different colors. It just helps me track where I've been. So I know I did this quarter with black. I'm gonna handle this driver door with red, and then I'll redunk.
Nick, now that it's clean, we need to start the decontamination process. We've been asked, water spot remover before iron remover before water spot remover. It's up to you. But in this case, there was so much texture to those water spots that using the decontamination towel with the iron remover first is going to remove a lot of the minerals before the water spot remover has to do its job. You
can do it either way, but it just makes sense to me. Use the iron remover with the decon towel first, and then use water spot remover. Water spot remover could also be termed, mineral accumulation dissolver, right?
Yeah.
So people think about it like, oh, I'm removing water spots, but for me, I look at it more like if I have salt on my roads, this is a great way to help neutralize it and get it off the paint if it's clogging up the pores of whatever I have on my paint.
Exactly, and not only salt on the roads, but if you live in a coastal environment, you get all sorts of minerals in the dew and not the snow, sorry, if you're in a warm coastal environment, you probably don't get snow. But you do get salt air attacking the surface. That dew in the morning that looks really great with all those beads, well, there could be minerals in that as well. And like we mentioned before, this vehicle was a regular at a car wash.
And one spray of the iron remover on the towel, one on the paint, Ivan, on this. I know you're talking about the history of the car, but I think the technique of the iron remover with the decon towel, we gotta touch on that every time because people don't realize how amazing this combo works.
Yes.
And you're gonna decon the glass as well. And then I'm gonna swap a side for every panel, and I'm not using any pressure on my towel.
Right.
And the bed of lubrication from the rinseless wash means you keep seeing suds as you continue to work the towel.
So as I was saying, this car was a regular at a car wash, and car washes tend to leave a lot of things on the surface. Yes, they do wash, but then they put their drying aid on the surface and you go through those blowers. Those blowers, instead of removing the water, some of it does come off, but some of it is dried on the surface and the water evaporates, leaving minerals behind. And if you're a car washer at home and you use a leaf blower all the time instead of a towel to dry your car, dry with a towel one time. You'll see a noticeable difference in the gloss and shine of your vehicle, because now you're not hiding it behind dried water.
You said one telltale sign of a vehicle that's been through the car wash a lot is that there's a lot of residue around the edges of emblems and under the hatch.
Exactly, yeah.
Why is that?
The brushes can't get in there, first of all, and secondly, the drying is not very efficient, so it doesn't dry around them either. And the other telltale sign with this one is all the scratches on the surface.
Typically with our towel, if you feel any roughness, you just want to work the towel with no pressure until that roughness or that sound of roughness, that scratchiness just goes away.
If the roughness persists, simply do a couple passes and move on to another panel. Come back to it. Let the chemical work for you. And when you come back to it a few seconds later, you'll notice that a lot of it's already gone.
And if your rinseless wash dries up on you on the panel, go ahead and spray a little more rinseless on as opposed to trying to add more lubrication with your iron remover. I just noticed I was doing that. I was spraying another spray of iron remover and I was like, add more rinseless. My towel is already sudsy with the iron remover. I just want to add a little bit more lubrication for these panels that I'm getting to last.
So here you go for the roof, Nick.
Okay, thank you. And like I mentioned, I'm just going to add a little more rinseless before I hit this with a decon towel.
Just tell us you want to play with the sprayer, Nick.
I just want to play with the battery-powered sprayer. We test stuff in the garage, and I've used that keg 100 times. I love it. But a battery-powered sprayer? Come on now.
It is actually quite fun. So,
what are your favorite sprayers out there? Let us know in the comments. We're always learning, and there's got to be new stuff coming out all the time. So we love the new, latest, and greatest, but we also love techniques and stuff that just works, right?
Exactly.
If you're a pro out there, find something that works and stick with it. If you're an enthusiast and you like trying all this stuff, well, I do too.
Enjoy yourself.
Exactly. I can't tell you it's bad, because I love it. But it's not the most efficient to try new stuff every day.
No, but it's a lot of fun. So we need to rinse off the iron remover. If you're wondering why we're not touching the wheels, this vehicle comes from a dealership. They just freshly had the wheels refinished, so they don't want any brushes on them. We're not worried about the wheels for this wash.
Now, Ivan, water spot remover.
Exactly. So we'll start applying the water spot remover.
Oh, you've got a bottle too? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm going to generously apply. I want to hit all the surfaces. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can just spray it on and rinse it off after some dwell time.
Right.
I like the spray on, agitate in method. So, yeah, I'm trying to hit every surface with this, but we're going to be redundant. We're going to use that extra step with a towel to lightly agitate it in. We're not there yet. We're just spraying it on.
Right. Spraying it on, letting it dwell, and that agitation really does a good job.
I like a nice wide fan mist for this process, but
yep.
Choose your own adventure.
One of the things we mentioned, this vehicle has been through a car wash a lot, and one of the telltale signs is sort of a gunk or a accumulation around the emblems. Easy way of doing that while we're doing the water spot remover, spray some water spot remover on the emblem and take a nice soft brush. Make sure that the vehicle has been washed first so there's no grit there, and we're good to go. Don't forget to do underneath the lights or any little overhang, because those also accumulate a lot of stuff that the car wash brushes can't get to.
Okay, now we're gonna agitate in with a plush towel, dunk it in our bucket of rinseless.
Right.
And unlike other processes, when you're agitating in with a towel, we're not gonna flip sides on this, are we?
Exactly, we don't want to flip it. We want to just distribute the water spot remover more evenly, give it a bit of agitation. We have a super thick, fluffy towel here, just dampened in the rinseless. That's gonna give us just the lubrication we need, plus the water spot remover. And then we just work it into the paint. On the hood here, where it was particularly crunchy, I'm gonna go over it just a little more.
Why do we rinse off the iron remover before doing water spot remover, Ivan?
To let the water spot remover get to the surface without having to worry about the iron remover.
They're two separate chemicals.
Two separate chemicals, two different processes. When we're done, we'll have a very decontaminated vehicle. While I'm up here, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now would be a good time. Or even hit the notification bell. Leave us some comments. We love reading your comments. Nick, some people have accused us of working magic with our water spot remover because it restores beading and sheeting on a car.
Yeah, they think that there's some kind of product in there that adds beading or protection.
Yeah, there isn't at all. What it is doing is removing those minerals that are hiding your nice paint, that are dulling your paint, that are making it hydrophilic instead of hydrophobic. Now, this vehicle isn't the best example of beading and sheeting, but it's a lot better than it was a couple minutes ago. The towel that you use to agitate the water spot remover, you just want to rinse it out. There you go, sir.
Thank you. Ivan, the ever so popular drying blanket, back in stock and ready to do what it does best.
Dry a car. Now, we're not using a drying aid on this because we are going to be polishing it. As we're drying, let's take a look at these water spots. very much reduced. There's still a few of them there, but our light enhancement polish will take care of the little scarring that's remaining. Nick, it's all dry.
Looks amazing, doesn't it? Almost, yeah. Not quite.
We'll make it look better.
Now it's time to polish.
Nick, we're ready to polish. We have the polishers, we have the polish, we have the towels, and we have ceramic gloss.
If folks want to know how to use a pad washer, if they don't have this Lake Country 4000 pad washer, we have a DIY method. We're going to put a link to that in the description below. Buckets of water, a little bit of rinseless, you spit it out in another bucket, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But we are set to go. You always want to wipe with a rinseless dampened towel. We're going to then use basically a rinseless dampened panel, almost like we'd wash the car.
Right.
A spritz of ceramic gloss, wipe it in, we're protected, we're wiped off.
Right. It's basically the DIY version of an all-in-one polish. But we're getting better cut because we're using the gold standard, and we're getting better protection because we're using ceramic gloss.
What do they need to know about the gold standard polishing system if it's perhaps their first time?
The gold standard polishing system is really a system. It's pad dependent. We have 3 pads. We have the one we're using today, which is our finest pad, the red rotary jeweling pad. And yes, we're doing a one-step with a rotary on a dark car. Wow. Some people are scared of that. There's nothing to be afraid of. The next thing is, we have our gold standard waffle pad. It's gold. If you only have one pad in your life, it's the pad to have. It does just about everything. Then we have our wool cutting pad, specifically designed for a DA. We'll work on a rotary, but it works much better on a DA. And it is, if you have defects you want to get rid of, that's the pad for you.
Well, I see some scars left from the water spots on the hood, and I see some defects. Could we use the yellow waffle instead of the red one? Like, what is the red going to do for us on speed 1, the way we teach the rotary?
It's going to give us phenomenal gloss. Yes, it is going to remove some of these light defects. The dealer, they were ready to sell it the way it was, so they weren't that concerned about the water spots on it. We've improved the water spots, I'd say, by 70% as it is now compared to what it was before. This will just get it even further. We'll give this paint a really deep glow and gloss using, first of all, the polish, and then topping it up with the ceramic gloss. It's going to be phenomenal. The customer that buys this vehicle will be happy. The dealership will be happy. We're happy. Hopefully you're happy. And if you are, you can subscribe.
Let's polish, Ivan.
Yeah, off we go. Always starting with a clean, damp pad. Nick, it's looking fantastic.
Is it? That's awesome. It is up here too, and super slick.
That's for sure. The joys of ceramic gloss.
The joys of a rotary, man.
Yeah.
Look how dirty this pad is. I was polishing some trim up there on the roof. I could reach for all clean, our all-purpose cleaner, but what if I just tried the pad washer? A few pumps in there. Look at that. Totally clean.
Nick, I think this is your first time doing an enhancement or a one-step just with a rotary, right?
And I have to say, you know, you look in these lights and you think you're seeing this knick-knack, you know, that scratch, whatever. The difference in gloss, and I don't know if the camera picks it up because I haven't hit this panel yet, but the 5 to 10 foot away gloss of this panel versus this is night and day. And again, I don't know if these lights will pick it up or the phone will pick it up, but your eye loves what the rotary polisher does to paint.
Oh, definitely.
Don't worry about perfect paint. The gloss is what actual humans see. Not you crazy detailers. I'm a crazy detailer. Ivan, how long did it take for me to become a rotary believer?
Oh, it's been about 1.5 years now.
And I had to see the gloss with my own eyes to finally be like, oh, I don't have to worry about the scratches left in the paint or this and that. You've trained me to see what most people see, which is a real gift, because it's a curse when you start to see like a real detailer.
Yeah, because as a detailer, we see defects that most people don't even know exist.
No. And once you see them, you can't unsee them.
Right, we have this superpower. But to be a profitable detailer, you need to learn how to unsee those things. Or not unsee them, but make sure that you're not detailing for you, but you're detailing for your customer.
I have one panel left. Off I go.
If you want to learn